What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Happy 4th of July, everybody. It's the 4th of July. Here in America, we celebrate with fireworks in the sky, explosions, but for funsies, right? That's what we do. And I'm sure that there's other people around the world that are probably even celebrating today as well, but mainly in America here. Shout out to all the Americans. 23 hours left in this day, the 4th of July here. 109.4K is the price. The big, beautiful bill has passed, and Donald Trump is getting his way. He will get to sign the bill into action. I don't know, make it official today on the 4th. I guess tomorrow for most people in the United States where I'm at. So tomorrow, technically. He's been talking about doing this for a while. And I have also theorized that he had some big stuff planned for the 4th of July like months ago. But before he ever, he's talked about the big, beautiful bill, but I didn't know that he planned it on the 4th of July. Recently, over like the past couple weeks, I've become more and more aware of that. But I thought just because he's been talking about the 250th anniversary of the nation, it makes sense that he would do something big for this day. And I think that the bill is definitely a big thing. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, I'm not going to comment on that, but we are going to talk about how it reflects in the price, okay? I think that a lot of market participants are seeing this bill, regardless of if it's good for the economy overall, if it's good for the dollar, if it's good for the American people, whatever. That's probably not what they're focused on. If you're focused on the markets, you're aware that this bill is going to print $5 trillion. We're going to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion effectively. Apparently, allegedly, there's supposed to be like 4 point something trillion in deals that come in. There's going to be a lot of money coming in, going out, whatever, because of this bill. And whether that's good or bad spending, I don't know. I'm not one to decide. I don't know where it's all going. Hopefully they put it into Bitcoin. They stack up some Bitcoin, guys. I wouldn't be surprised at all if all this money that they started to get under their belt went to pumping up the crypto reserves. But let's get into this real quick, okay? I think the big, beautiful bill will have an absolutely negative impact on the markets, okay? At first. I think that over time, and probably not much time from here, it will have a positive impact. But I'm assuming that it will be negatively impactful in the beginning, right? Because this is just kind of how it always is. Let's run through this, right? There's a saying in the space called "buy the hype, sell the news." We've been aware of this big, beautiful bill for a while, right? We've been buying the hype on that news for a while now, especially over the past 2 weeks with Donald Trump saying he wants to get it passed by the 4th of July. That gives us a specific date. Oftentimes you do pump into that. And notice here, right? The price always tells you before the news tells you, right? Notice here, we moved up, right? Bitcoin's very, very bullish for the last couple days. No catalyst as to why, right? Is it because the 12-day war is over? No, because that was over here. We ended that. We moved up here. But I think this move, this most recent move here, that was probably because insiders were aware of this phenomenal bill. Whether it's phenomenal or not, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad for like America. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. I don't know. But this bill, I think it's phenomenal because it's going to pump our bags. That's why I think it's phenomenal. But at first, I think it's going to drop, right? The price is already priced in. We've made the move up. The news is out now, right? And likely what's going to happen is we're going to drop down and sell the news. I know a lot of people are anticipating this to be a very bullish event, and I think it will be bullish. But we've already had the bullish event. There's an old saying that says, "Buy the hype, sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news," and that's exactly what I think is going to happen here. Right on the hour that Donald Trump signs this bill into effect, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we started dropping. Maybe we pump going into it, and then we drop. There's a lot of longs and shorts, a lot of leverage trades on the board right now. If we're looking at this, let's see. Maybe some have taken themselves off the board. The hot spot used to be like 100 and something, like 130 or something like that, but now it's like 46. So, or maybe it was 150 or 80 at one point, but 40. So some people have deleveraged clearly, but there's some hot spots up here, way up at like $11,000. There's some hot spots down here at 108,700 and even below, right? Look at all this liquidity that's down here. We could genuinely sweep prices that are below 108K, you guys. Oftentimes, think about it like this. So here's shorts, right? If we move up, we're clearing out those positions. Shorts, as you're moving up, those positions go underwater and they get liquidated. So that's your short positions. Here are your long positions, okay? Whenever you're longing, you're borrowing money. When you close that long position out, whether it's for the good, you're making profits, or for the bad and you're getting liquidated, you are effectively selling all of that back onto the open market, right? So that adds selling pressure every time that you, just like a short squeeze happens, there's long squeezes, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if once we started hitting this liquidity zone, if we kept going into it, right? Like imagine back here, here's this liquidity zone, this really hot zone right here. And once we got to it, did we bounce a little bit short, but we pushed further into it because it cascades selling pressure. Now we held the line pretty well. We didn't go any lower. I did actually think that we were going to go lower because we were so close to this, but it looks like the whales are protecting their funds here, just as these whales were protecting their funds back here. But and I don't know how much sense this makes to everybody. It's pretty straightforward, but if you don't understand, you don't understand, and that's fine. This might be an easier map to interpret right here. Shorts on the right side, longs on the left side. If we move down, here's the price, and here's like the price right here. If we move down, we're going to liquidate the longs. If we move up, we're going to liquidate the shorts. It's pretty even. It's pretty even for the most part, but the thing is, looking at the price at 109.4K right now, and that's the price, 109.4K. I'm going to actually delete that so that we can see. Yeah, 109.4, 109.5. The nearest liquidity zone the nearest liquidation zone, I should say, is at 109.1K. We're at 109.4K now. This liquidity zone's at $11,000 or $110,000. My bad. I see the 11 and it makes me think 11,000. So we're actually a little bit closer to this zone than we are to that zone. And I think because of that, and it looks like there's more liquidity. I don't know. I mean, they're pretty even matched, honestly, man. But let's see, 110,000. That's, yeah. I mean, if we were to increase, we're at 109.4. So if we were to increase $1,000 at 110.4, $1,000 would liquidate effectively. If nobody closed their positions, that'd be effectively a cumulative $59 million amount on CoinGlass here. If we were to drop $1,000, it should be 108.4, right? I like to do it like this. This is not the best way to do it, but just 108.4. Just trust when I tell you, like if you understand what I'm saying here. That'd be about 218 million. So $1,000 in either direction, 218 million for going down versus 101 million going up. I don't think it's a competition. There's the liquidity on the long side moving down is closer than the upside. That doesn't mean we have to go down. That's just how I like to think of it sometimes. So that, don't use that by itself. That can get you in trouble. This is where you do technical analysis too to kind of help validate. Really, this isn't supposed to help you decide what direction it's going to go. I don't think so. I mean, that kind of can. It can help reinforce that, but I don't think so. Don't use it as that. That'll get you in trouble, man. Use it as like price zones, right? Where is the hot spot going to be that we go to clear out some longs or some shorts? You can use that, CoinGlass. It's free, whatever. You just go up here, you click on liquidation, liquidation heat map, and then boom, you've got all this stuff over here. BTC, right? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so to gauge the price, we use technical analysis, right? Indicators are definitely helpful, right? Readings like this, on-chain data is definitely helpful too, but or I don't know if I guess it's on-chain, obviously, but liquidity data, maybe leverage trade, margin trade, volume is also helpful, but it can be deceitful, is all I'm trying to say. I'm tripping up on my words here. Let's try to hone in on the stuff that I'm a little bit more familiar with, which is technical analysis in itself. Looking at the RSI here, this tells me that we have lower to go. Why? Why does the 1 hour tell me that we have lower to go, right? Well, we're at the 50. Shouldn't we be finding support at the 50? Maybe. We could. We really could find support at the 50. We've done it before. We found support at the 50 before over here, right? But you notice a difference, right? You notice the difference between here, right? Do you see the difference with the higher highs and the higher lows versus here with the lower highs and the lower lows? Do you see the difference, right? I don't think this area is going to hold. I would think that we go lower. We probably form a lower low, and what likely will hold is the 40. So we'll probably bounce off the 40, which would imply that we go lower. Here we are at 109.4K. Where are we going to go lower to? Well, probably about 108.7K. We're going to sweep that 109K area and probably just go a little bit below there. That makes sense to me. Beyond that, we can use the fibs, low to high here, 109.3K at the golden ratio, 109.1K right here. And you might think, and again, this is why you shouldn't use this by itself, just because it can get you in trouble. You might think, oh, once we go here and clear out all the longs, we'll move up immediately. Oftentimes, after longs get cleared out, people go long right then and there because of that exact logic. So then they fuel the fire of the bears, because the more longs that get liquidated, the more selling is happening effectively, right? It's like a long squeeze. And people think they're so smart by putting longs in at these areas for whenever the price gets there, but then the price continues to push through. It's almost like they're adding fuel to the fire in a sense. It can be rather tricky. This is not in itself the most helpful thing, but that's why I use it in culmination with other things. I would be very surprised here if we were to move up and go to the overbought zone, but it can happen. I mean, we're definitely in a bullish circumstance right now. I just do expect that we go down a little bit lower, probably down to this golden ratio before moving higher, if at all, right? Do we go higher before the day is over? Do we go higher than these highs? That remains to be seen. It's very possible that we do, but again, I expect this bill to have a negative impact. So even if we do move up into the signing, Donald Trump's in the Oval Office signing the bill into effect, or wherever he is signing he's probably going to be not in the Oval Office. I don't know. Maybe he'll be in the Oval Office, but whenever he signs it into effect, whatever we're doing, whether we're moving sideways, we just move down, and then we're moving up into the signing, we're moving up, and then we're chilling or whatever, or we're going through the roof. As soon as that bill's signed, I expect a massive drop to happen. We're probably it's going to be a sell the news event, something similar to this. And I don't personally expect that we'll get above this high until probably sometime next week. So the new all-time highs are coming. We're just not there yet, my friends. That's my expectation. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I've been noticing that lately with this volatile price action, we've been a little bit tricky on these shorter-term moves on this 1 hour time frame. Typically, whenever we move down, we actually move up in the beginning, right? We've got 52 minutes left in this 1 hour candle. It's a brand new candle. We moved up in the beginning. You notice how all these have wicks to the upside. It's because we moved up in the beginning. Same thing on the moves up. Typically, we're moving down in the beginning before we move up. Not always. There's some full body candles here as well, but just saying that's something I've noticed recently behaving a little bit more casually. I don't know. 4 hour RSI makes me think that there's a chance we could move higher first. Maybe we get to the overbought zone, and with that, we could move higher. But I wouldn't expect too much higher, right? Maybe we go, maybe we do clear out these levels at 111K. Yeah, 110 to 111K, something in that range. Maybe we do, but time will tell. I'm not so confident in that right now. Personally, I think that we will go lower first, but again, maybe over the beginning of the day we drop down, and then going into tomorrow we start to move up more. I don't know, but then after the bill's signed, we will start to move lower. I want to throw the MACD on here. Let's throw the MACD on here because I thought this was a little bit interesting, right? Stochastics on the 4 hour. We'll get back into this. I just want to look at the 1 hour. So the MACD, was it the 1 hour? I think it was the 1 hour. Yes, okay. Here's the MACD. I've noticed that typically whenever the MACD is moving down like this, right, we do see a little bit of growth slowly going up, right? And I feel like that's what we're getting here. Until we top off, wherever that might be. I think we've topped off because if you use this in correspondence with the RSI, you get overbought once, you get overbought twice, and that's about it. Here we didn't get I guess we got overbought twice, but we had bearish divergence to mark the top, and we're in a downtrend. You see the downtrend back here in the RSI? Downtrend in the RSI, right? Where was that? That was relatively at the top. MACD was looking like this. We had our bullish move up, and we didn't start really moving back up. We didn't have a crazy, terrible drop or anything like that. But if you're leverage trading with high leverage, some people do 100x leverage. I mean, 1% screws you up, man. Let alone 1.7%. You know what I mean? If you got the actual high, if you got the bottom, even that 4.43% can screw you up pretty bad. And a lot of these sites, they'll liquidate you before you even actually get to zero technically. They'll leave you with a little bit left over. But I digress. All I'm trying to say is I think we're in a similar circumstance here with the MACD and the RSI as we are here, right? MACD moving down, you had a nice move up. And I've noticed with the MACD here, just real quick, okay? Real quick. We can just see this. It's not too convoluted, okay? You see all these areas. Let's go right to where we are here, okay? Like right in this area here. Every time we've been up to this area or higher, and we've moved down, I'm going to put a vertical line there, and we're just going to see how we behaved, okay? Right here, right here, right here. And this is on a 1 hour time frame, so this is not like historical, but it's like, going back to June 25th, and right here, okay? Crossing up from the zero, bullish, crossing up from the zero, bullish, crossing up from the zero, every single time, having a very bullish time. But when you top off, what do we notice? Well, you have a downtrend in the RSI. You had a little bit of some volatility, but inevitably dropped really hard. Really hard. You got your MACD below the zero before you started moving up again. Here, you topped off. That's quite the rough downtrend in the RSI. That's not so meticulous as this one is, but still, same kind of reaction in the MACD. You got on the oscillators below this zero line over here. You got below the zero before you started to recover, and even then, you actually still moved lower. Here, MACD, you topped off right here, and you didn't top off in the price. You stalled. Your growth kind of slowly kept going. But once you had that downtrend in your RSI, once that actually established itself, you started to move lower, and you did not start to move higher until the MACD oscillator went down below the zero again. Here we are way above the zero. I'm not saying that this means we have to do anything like this, where we crashed, right? Where we crashed here. This was like during the 12-day war, right? As it's called. We can keep going back in time. I did this earlier. I mean, there's some examples where it doesn't work out like this completely, but most of the time, that I'd say like 70%, 80% of the time it's like this, especially with bearish divergence and like a downtrend in the RSI, that really helps. So I would assume that we see lower prices over the hours to come. And maybe I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, cool. We'll pump into the big, beautiful bill being signed, and then still I anticipate a sell the news event, right? But I don't know. We're off to a decent start today so far, right? Oh no, I guess we're a little bit red. We're neutral right now. Off to a decent start so far. We're probably going to go lower. I would expect something that is below 109K, if not at the most something that's like around 106K. Let's just see from a relative, and I'm going to delete this. From a relative low here to a relative high there, right? Where would we likely go? Come on, man. Get on there. Probably just below the 236, as we've been doing, or the 382. Oftentimes enough, you do go just below the 382, so 108.4K. Oftentimes, after a powerful move like this, you actually will see like a nice bounce. And with that selling pressure from the sell the news event, wouldn't surprise me if it went there. At the lowest, 106.7, 107.1. I don't think that we go too much lower than that. And hey, man, if we go down that low, that's fine, right? We still got higher lows dating back here, higher lows coming up. It's fine. So nothing too crazy. A little bit of volatility never hurt anybody. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, the RSI seems to be struggling here. And I think that if you were to move higher, I think you would have done it already, right? We made an attempt here. You can see we made an attempt. We're on Binance, one of the highest volume chart in the space. You made an attempt to move up here, but you didn't have as much volume. You did have similar volume, but you didn't go anywhere. You just stalled out, and your 1-hour RSI formed a downtrend. I think that that's not good. So Stochastics have been overbought for a little while. You might pull back. If you guys hear any yelling, that's just my daughter. She likes to yell. Well, when she sings, she yells. That's just how she does it. 4-hour MACD, a little bit of bearish divergence as well. Technically, we have bearish divergence on the RSI, but I wouldn't call it that so much as just like being stopped in your tracks when you should be showing bullish strength. You're just not, and you're not getting any volume to follow through, right? With this big, beautiful bill being announced as passing, that should be some bullish news. Maybe people aren't happy about it. Maybe people are happy about it. I'm not here to discuss that. I'm just here to tell you that it should be bullish news for the markets. I think anybody's aware that this is going to pump the markets up really freaking hard. But the fact that it's not happening yet tells me that the markets were front ran. People were aware of this ahead of time, and now anybody buying that news, they're going to get wrecked. Probably. That's my expectation. Do I have anything else to say? Probably not. Oh, my daughter's crying. I'm going to go check on her. So it's probably a good time to end it. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Say bye to Mufasa. He's right there. All right. Bye bye. Take it easy.